All right, we're live. So this is the Maverick Times podcast. This is episode number 72, and we are doing a candidate interview with Maverick County Commissioner Precinct 4 candidate Anilu Morales-Gonzalez. Today's guest understands service not from a speech, not from a slogan, from a lifetime of living it. Anilu Morales-Gonzalez is Maverick County. She graduated from Eagle Pass High School in 1996. She left to get educated. She earned her degree with honors from the University of Texas at Austin. Then she did something that most people never do. She came home. She came home back to serve, to educate at both high schools, to invest in students who reminded her of herself. But service did not stop in the classroom. She became a business owner, a volunteer, a community advocate who believes in compassion, integrity, and strength, not just words. She practiced this daily. She's a member of the Rotary Club. She participates in PTO programs at her daughter's school. She serves as the director of the Eagle Pass Board of Realtors. And in 2025, she was named vice chairman of the Eagle Pass Council of Realtors. This is leadership earned through work, not titles. Her work reaches beyond this community. As a realtor, she has helped many families achieve home ownership. She has fought for fair economic opportunity, and today she serves statewide as a trustee for Texas Realtors. That is trust earned, not given. Her perspective was shaped early. She was raised in a colonia. She knows what financial struggle looks like. She knows why balanced budgets matter, why emergency services matter, why law enforcement presence matters in county neighborhoods. Service runs in her family. Her husband, Norman Gonzalez, is a retired U.S. Border Patrol agent and a proud U.S. military veteran. Together, they are raising two daughters on faith, community, and civic duty. And now she's bringing the same dedication forward, focus on protecting essential services, maintaining fiscal responsibility, and keeping Maverick County safe. This is not a resume, this is a record. Anilu Morales Gonzalez is here, and the conversation starts now.
Good evening, everyone.
How you doing, Anilu?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your program.
Absolutely. I know that there was a couple of people that did reach out to us, and they were interested in getting a couple of questions in, and kind of getting a feel for a candidate that's going to be taking over Precinct 4.
Yes, I'm very excited about it. I love to communicate with the community, so I'm often going live on my own page to try to get my message across. And I always thank the media for reaching out to me and being fair and inviting me onto their program too.
Absolutely. So let's get started. For listeners out there who may be hearing your name for the first time, how would you describe who you are today and what ultimately led you to run for County Commissioner of Precinct 4?
I think every time that I've changed career, it has taught me something. It has made me a little bit into who I am. So from my teaching days, but I guess we can go before that. My parents owned the tortilleria Piedras Negras. So since the age of 10, I was involved with business. I was like their head cashier because, well, we were starting off, right? So we had to help. So I know every aspect of the business. I know how to run a business. I know how to, manage employees and all that. Then I became a teacher. um, I was a part of, well, I was in the dance team when I was in high school. And then when I became a teacher, I taught the dancers too. Um, then I ran a business too, a jewelry store. And then I started running the tortilleria again, like full time. Um, Eventually, I'm never satisfied, right? I always want more. So some people do know me from a while back, several years ago, I would do like online sales of makeup. And so I had to become super creative, right, on how to sell and how to showcase stuff. So I'm able to communicate with people well, and I'm used to doing this. So but now that I became a realtor and I got very involved with real estate, we've been doing it for years. We have a construction company too that I run.
Oh, wow.
Um, so we build houses. What I love to do is to like flip homes, remodel them. So we give them new life. And every time that we've done a flip, it has been great. The people who I buy the house from have been very grateful that we give it new life. And that's one of my little passions that I like to do right now. I prefer to remodel a house than to build a new one. It just gives it a
Cool.
different sense of purpose. And now involved with real estate, I'm very much aware of what the community needs, how they live. Um, Owning a home is one of the biggest deals in America. Um, and
American
right
dream,
now,
right?
yes, so not everyone is able to afford a home right now because everything is so expensive. It's not just Eagle Pass, and I know that people like to blame the realtors. The realtors put the price so high, but
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. The market determines the price. So I am very involved. It's the state level too to try to find affordable housing and whatever benefits the community. And we're always advocating for things like that that will help my clients out. I go to a lot of meetings, so it is time consuming, but I'm willing to make the drive because most of my meetings are in Austin. And now that we merged with San Antonio Board of Realtors, I'm also in the Governmental Affairs Committee and I'm in the Tree Pack Committee. So I volunteer my time in those programs a lot, and you get to learn. I mean, it is time consuming, but I love the behind the scenes. I love being involved, which brings me to like, why do you want to run? Um, I like being behind the scenes and knowing what makes things work and trying I want to have a voice for the people, and be able to advocate for them. And if you know me on a personal level, you know that I don't take just like no because no se puede. Like I'm like, but why? But why? I've always been like that, and I think I'd be a good, perfect candidate for that position. I want to be working behind the scenes and making things go.
No, that's pretty cool. I didn't know you remodeled homes. So you got a whole QVC or what was that channel that has those
Yeah.
shows where people remodel the homes and do everything, and then they go and they sell them and everything. So that's cool. That's cool. I
Yeah.
didn't know that, but it seems like you're a pretty busy woman here. You know, you serve in so many committees, a realtor, the remodeling, construction, all that. So you have a little bit of everything, I guess, right? I mean, I know that's having a budget for construction is it could get difficult, right? And that's kind of an experience that you'll be bringing on to commissioner's court if you become the next commissioner for precinct 4. Then,
Yes. So I work with my dad, right, when I'm doing the flips. So we often argue about price and like doing it right. And I'm like, hey, I'm like, you're gonna let me do this right. It has to be done the right way. So and yeah, he already got used to it. And he's all like, oh, you're gonna do whatever you want anyway, right? I'm like, exactly. I'm like, we have to do this right.
so I mean, you serve the community as an educator, business owner, volunteer. I know you talked a little bit about it right now, but um, how did that prepare you for managing county resources and representing residents?
Well, it's important to know that I didn't grow up with money. I know that some people think or associate me with money. I don't know. I have to work for my money, even now. Um, but I know what it is to not have, and we have to make that dollar stretch, right? And that's something that's gonna help me because we can't just use our taxpayers' money, like if nothing, like, yeah, buy this, buy that. It has to have a purpose and it has to like we already are crunching numbers at county, right? We don't have that big of a budget. So every dollar that you're able to save and stretch, it's gonna help the community. So you want someone in there that knows what it's like, that actually has the experience of managing money. And you're not just hiring out somebody like, oh, do it for me. And then you say, I know how to manage a business. Because putting it into practice really matters.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's one thing to talk about it, right? It's anybody can talk about it, but to actually do it and get your hands dirty, I think that takes another level of commitment and I guess initiative as well.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
if you get to precinct four as the county commissioner, what three priorities are the top ones for you?
Definitely safety and security. In case you guys are watching and you don't know what precinct four looks like, you can go to voteanilu.com and you can pull up the precinct map there. But I'll briefly describe it. So it is around the loop where Subway starts, junior high, Mr. Willow, Montana. It goes all the way to about Royal Ridge, Liberty area. And then if you cross the highway, it goes to Crown View, Rudy Bowles, Jamirera, Villaromel area. So, but then you jump to the other side of town, and that's 4D, and that's the Loma Bonita area. So all of Eitzen Road, where Panchitos used to be, now it's Anna's Bakery. So all that area is part of Precinct 4D. It's vast. It's so different from what we experience in the city limits. And we also have some part of downtown. And of course, that's also very different. Everyone's needs, every section of town has very different needs.
No, yeah, absolutely. I know that there in Loma Bonita, they have one of the highest rates of calling the sheriff's office, and I think that that's why they're actually building right now the extension of the sheriff's office, the little center that they're going to have there for the sheriffs to be stationed. So that's a good thing. It's a good project that's being started
Yes,
out there.
definitely. And that was actually in my early in my platform. I wasn't aware that they were working on it, but I know that there was a push because I had reached out to officers in the area, constables that work there, and I had spoken to them about it. And I know there is a need. Now, something that I spoke about in a previous podcast or a previous, probably I think I said it in my page, but I would like to explore the idea of moving the constable office from Ferry Street to Loma Bonita by the Nick Car Park because we saw the vandalism that took place.
Yeah,
So if we had more constables in the area patrolling, I think it would deter that kind of activity from happening. Those restrooms have been vandalized many times.
yeah, yeah.
So something needs to change to avoid that because it costs us a lot of money to renovate them, to fix them, and people deserve good things. So I'm trying to be a little bit creative and thinking outside the box. I don't know the logistics of why they are on Ferry Street, but that's something I would definitely love to explore.
Yeah, and that extension I think is going to be, might be something that they could use, or absolutely for the sheriffs, with the high volume of calls that they get from the residents out there. Um, how will you measure progress on these priorities so residents can hold you accountable and see results?
So an idea that I had spoken about also is that it came to me. I think you need to be communicating with the residents more frequently. So I thought about doing about town hall meetings, like with this section, like 1 month, like 40 gets, a meeting, and then another month 4B gets a meeting. And, we communicate with them and we see what their needs are. Their needs are going to change.
Yeah.
And then we need some of these projects that we're advocating for that we want, like, better infrastructure so that way there's less flooding in the area. Those take time. The first time I met with one of the residents, they're like, man, pues yo quiero que pavimenten toda la calle esta. And I'm like, that's not going to happen because, and if anybody tells you, yes, I'm going to pave your street. Yes, you deserve best, that you deserve all the streets paved. You know what? That person hasn't even looked at the budget because if you look at the budget, you have to be realistic what we're working with.
Mm.
But there has to be a plan. It has to start somewhere. So I believe in creating a master plan and taking it a little at a time and explaining and educating people. There's no reason to be hiding the numbers. It is what it is. You as a commissioner get so much money. It's not endless. So
Mhm.
that way you explain to them like, hey, I have to divide it, 4 ways and this has to be done. People are able to understand. And it's just about communicating the facts to them.
Absolutely, and yeah, Maverick County unfortunately does have a lower budget than, let's say, the city of Eagle Pass. And you have different precincts, of course, that get divided the money up. So that's always an interesting aspect because each commissioner fights for their precinct so they can get these projects done. We've noticed that you've been attending the commissioner's court meeting for and public discussions for several months now. What have you learned about how county government actually works?
Well, that's pretty interesting. I hadn't brought it up, but I do have it here. So I have all the agendas that I've attended because a lot of people say they care about becoming commissioner, but I have yet to see anybody show up. I've been the only one that has been going from day one. The first one that I have as proof, and I'll post the pictures because every time I go up, I take a picture because then it say if you don't take a picture, it didn't happen. So here we have. Remember, we registered November 8th as candidates. November 12th was the first meeting. I think I saw you there. I see other people there. But it's very important for you to actually show up and know. The first time that I showed up, I mean, I'd been before, and you kind of start like getting the hang of it. So now that when people are, are talking about like, hey, like the access road to Baltica, you mentioned that in your life. I'm like, you know what? They're actually kind of working on that already. So Loma Bonita, for those of you who don't know, has a street in the very end. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get there because of all the curves and all the speed bumps and everything. So if there was ever an emergency, it takes paramedics, or firefighters it takes them a long time to get there, and every minute counts. So we also need to be helping them get to people faster. If your grandma was the one having a heart attack and she lived in Baltica, you want them to be there fast. So there is a little piece of land that could connect to 480. And we have to find the way to buy that piece of land and make the connection so EMS and the first responders have access to that area too. So I've learned a lot of what's happening. I know that we have certain grants for things. I know that we're getting more cars for constables. I know that you've brought in a lot of grant money lately. So that's good. We're very thankful. We need more people like you that are able to find us that free money. Um, and I understand that yes, there's a match, but there are some really good ones out there. But we have to work on getting those type of grants to help the community because we just simply don't have enough money to cover all our needs. So that's why I think it's very important for me to be informed. And so I've been taking my time. I do go to these meetings. You have to be there. So I don't know if you follow what I post all the time, but lately I started putting actions speak louder than words because I've heard other candidates say like, "Oh, I do that," and I'm like, "Well, I've never seen you," but but I think it's more important to show your face, be present. People want to see accountability. And that's why I'm there. I'm trying to learn. I'm not an expert yet, but I'm trying to follow along what's happening. And so now I've kind of gotten the hang of it. Like, okay, this project is coming. They needed to pass this. So it's very exciting to see that there are a lot of things in the works for Maverick County.
No, yeah. I mean, I've noticed that you've been there, and I think that it takes, again, the word initiative to want to be there because it's not like you're going to be going if you get elected as commissioner. It's not going to be, you have to learn on the rush or anything. No, you have a couple of months under your belt of attending these meetings, and you kind of are familiar with what's going on and everything like that. Has anything caught you by surprise or anything kind of like, oh, well, I didn't know how that worked or, oh,
So I guess the grant money, you know how sometimes you get grant money. I wasn't aware that Maverick County has to front the money first
mm,
and then they get reimbursed. So sometimes the grant money is out there and sometimes it can be like, here, you can have $5 million, but we can't accept it because it's not in our budget. There's no way that they can cover it. So we need to look at grants that actually fit our needs and we're actually able to do. So I just assumed in the beginning, like it's grant money, they just send you the money, but apparently not. So that
no,
was good to know.
no, yeah, I would say the majority of them work on a reimbursement basis,
Mhm.
which how you're mentioning that Maverick County actually has to make a purchase or invest the money first before they can request the reimbursement of funds. Recently, there was a public defender's grant
Mhm.
that Maverick County applied for. We were awarded, and just recently they got all the paperwork, squared away to get done. This is through the Texas Indigent Defense Commission, and they're a little bit different in that they offer you an advance. Some grants do, not all of them. This one in particular does. So that was a good thing that they, I know the county judge was involved in getting that advance approved and everything, so we can go ahead and get the money up front rather than having to get a reimbursement. But those are special circumstances. It's not the majority. You do have to put up the money up front.
Something that also like caught me off guard is the amount of time that you guys have to go in there and ask for monies for printers being broken or toner for them and I'm just, oh, okay, wow, okay, we need to fix this. But I am glad that they took a revision of the, I think it was the copiers
Mhm.
and believe the internet or something like that. You guys are gonna redo the whole thing because you guys had so many different services and it's gonna be a huge savings now on a monthly basis. So it was good that somebody took their time to explore what y'all had been carrying from past years, and now you're gonna make it better and save the taxpayer some money.
No, yeah, I really do think that the commissioner's court has been, thinking of things of what needs to get fixed and starting from a common sense point instead of, doing something that's just gonna be maybe temporary, but actually starting from the foundation of things. That way you build from the foundation up into a solid product, right?
Yeah.
Um, well, many voters don't really fully understand what a county commissioner does. How would you explain the job in simple terms to residents?
In simple terms. Okay, as a facilitator, I would say. So I think this is where my skills as a realtor are able to come and play because I'm able to negotiate, I'm able to communicate. I already have all those relationships, established. I don't have to go running around and be like, oh, let me become friends with that one person or let me get to know this person. As a realtor, you have to be prepared and be friendly with everyone because you never know what your client's going to need. So I think that's a big part of I think I got sidetracked. What did you ask me?
It was how would you describe being a county
Oh,
commissioner
commissioners.
to the
Okay.
voters?
So yes, I was saying facilitator. So project manager type of thing. You find out what the community needs early on. And I had a survey going. We didn't get too much of a response. Um, but you communicate with people, you find out what they're if there's something lacking, if they want speed bumps, if they don't want speed bumps, if it's flooding, you try to find what needs to be addressed. And so also building houses and doing projects like that helps already. You already have the know-how to finish a project. If I don't finish a flip properly or a remodel properly, I'm never going to be able to sell that house. So there has to be a start time and an end time within a reasonable time to get it done to see the final product. For me as a realtor, it'd be selling the house and then getting your commission, right? So I am well aware of that, and I do put it into practice every single day.
Awesome. So public safety is a central to your campaign message. What does safety mean to you beyond just law enforcement?
Safety, it goes also like with housing, like some people don't even have a proper house to live in, when you drive around Loma Bonita. I mean, I am amazed and I want to ask more questions, but there's a family living in a house that burned down. And so that would be part of safety and security for the family. And I don't know what their needs are or what their situation is. And I think that's definitely something that needs to be explored, especially when like we're expecting really bad weather. So I don't know what the county is doing right now to assist those people. But it doesn't matter who they are, what they do. Nobody should be living like that. So hopefully, that's the part I think of the security, um, and safety. Just in like you want to live in an area where you don't have to be worried if you're gonna get shot at or there's gonna be fights. And there is a lot of crime in that particular area right now. So we do have to do something and be more active. Um, I don't know if it would work, but I know that in town, like our neighbors have like group chats of the, if you live down the street, like, hey neighbor, I saw this suspicious vehicle, or, we do that here. I don't know if that would work in Loma Bonita area, right? But that's something that we can definitely put into practice, like a good neighbor program. And that would ensure that they have safety and security and be more alert when things are happening.
No, yeah, absolutely. There's strength in numbers, right? And just letting everybody know, hey, maybe somebody tried to do something at this house or anything like that. That way,
Mm,
everybody can make sure they take care of their homes and property.
yeah.
Absolutely. Um, so you've also spoken about preventing crime before it happens through your platform. What role do community partnerships and neighborhood? Well, I think you just answered that one. I was reading it off, but you just answered that one, right? Um, yeah. So preventing crime before it happens. What kind of ideas do you have? That is it specifically that the residents talking to each other, or did you have something else in mind?
No, I mean, if you drive around at night, there's definitely a need for more lighting. I would love to talk to the constables and then, maybe working something out on a volunteer base, because there's a lot of law enforcement out there that live out there. I have several friends that are law enforcement that live out there. And I know that if given the opportunity, they could create like a neighborhood watch and they would patrol from time to time. Because I think if I understand correctly, I think they stopped patrolling like at 12, like, and that's kind of like when the crime is happening. So I would love to have a little bit more law enforcement present, more people driving away. You see something, say something, and report it. And that way we can get, people in there to investigate before something happens. But definitely the lighting would help. Um, and being able to take care of your property with pride also. We can do like cleanup campaigns. I know that with Rotary, we're always looking for projects to do. And I joke with them and I'm like, okay, I got a project for you guys. There's this park that needs to be cleaned up. But the truth is that we can talk to the Lions Club, we can talk to the Cub Scouts, we can, and ask people from the community, like, hey, we're gonna clean up this area, and I want the neighborhood to participate so that way, if it costs them effort, they will take care of their property more, and neighbors will be more aware of what's going on. And it's just informing them of more projects, and more ideas that are outside the box. And it's little things, but those little things add up.
No, yeah, that makes total sense. So with safety and infrastructure, with that thought, having both, how would you decide how county resources are invested or prioritized between two different, safety and infrastructure?
Um, well, I think there's different budget money for them. So, and I know that infrastructure is very expensive. So we need to find realistic approaches that we can take. I cannot, and I won't say it. I'm like, I'm gonna put in all this new infrastructure so you guys don't ever flood, because that's not gonna happen in my first year. It's just not. It's not feasible, but you can start working on it. And I know that there are certain areas that do flood. I mean, and there's and when I was walking in the area, one instance, a lady told me like, hey, they did this project, but it wasn't finished all the way, and now my house is flooding. I'm like, oh, we can definitely look at that, because the canal is literally right behind her house. So I think if county took the time and went and saw like what the issue was, it seems like a fairly easy solution that would impact that street. So it would impact them, and it would benefit them, because they are struggling right now, because the way the water rolls down from the hill, is now negatively affecting them.
Yeah. And okay, well, talking about projects, how will you ensure transparency to see so the residents know how money is being spent in these projects?
Communication. I mean, and I have an open door policy even now. Like, people ask me questions, I'm like, oh yeah, it's this and that. As realtors, we have to disclose everything, even when we're talking about selling a house and we're getting a listing up front, we tell them, hey, this is how much we're charging. This are how much your charge is going to be. So I'm used to that. Disclosing is not a big deal. If you're not hiding anything, there's no reason for you to be like, well, I'm not going to show them. And I know there's some things, some projects that, that you can't talk about until they're out for legal reasons. But if you can keep a conversation going with the residents, they're going to understand. And that's what they want. They want to be heard. Um, from talking to most of them, that's their number one need. I want to be heard. I want for you to know that I'm there, and that I have issues. And then we work on something together. I'm like, well, and I've asked many times, like, how do you think we can solve this? And they go ahead and they tell me their idea. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds right. And it's just creating a list and start working on it. I create lists for myself all the time, like, oh, gotta do this, gotta do that. Because if I don't write it down, it doesn't happen. So um yeah, I like doing that.
Oh yeah, I can relate. I can relate. I got a couple of lists back in the office myself. For the precinct four voters out there, what does a well-maintained, safe, and thriving precinct four look like in 5 years from now?
Mm, well, I definitely want to be able to, when I walk into like Loma Bonita area, I want to know whether it's trash pickup or not. Because when I first started going there, I was telling my husband, I'm like, well, maybe it's like the bulk pickup time. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, but it stayed like that from November till January, like 5th, when they started working and actually removing the stuff. So we have to inform people when it's okay to put the trash out and when it's not. And it starts there, and we need to somehow create a program where maybe the staff for the commissioners can go out there patrolling and being like, hey, it's not time for you to put your trash out yet, and educate and inform the people like when you can do it, when you cannot. um I would love to see better roads. And I would love to see something with that park in the very back by Baltica, the Siete Lomas Park. I mean, that park, it shouldn't even be called a park. I sell houses in that area and I was not aware that was considered a park. I thought it was just vacant land. But we have a good space and we have like that we can work with. So maybe we can partner up with one of the organizations around town and they can take it as their own project. Um, maybe even create a dog park because I know that people are always talking to me about dog parks, and that there is. I know it's out of the way, but it's got to start somewhere. So if we're able to beautify that park to like include that, and then also just off topic, one of the main things they tell me all the time is the dogs that are running around everywhere that we just have to do something about it. But going to commissioner's court, I know that now they're talking about ordinances and rules, and
Mhm.
restrictions. And so we're following, I think we're trying to adopt what the state has.
Right.
So that's a start. We didn't have anything before, so there were empty threats whenever like, hey, we're gonna fine you for this. But now there are gonna be more consequences because there are a lot of dog lovers out there, and we do need to take care of those pets or pets that get abandoned. And so that would be a good area to create that.
No, yeah, I totally agree with you. Um, so, if you're elected county commissioner of precinct four, what would success look like for you your first year?
My first year, okay, so as long as I can identify what the issues are and we start working on them, it's and I've told people nothing's gonna happen much in the first year because you have to create a plan. Definitely talk to the current commissioner and be like, hey, what plans are you working on? So that way they don't go by the wayside and we keep following through. Um, I would love to hear positive things because, as you know, like people will post you on Comprovendo, but I would love to hear things. So if I don't hear like negative things, that'd be great. I am open for, suggestions. But yeah, definitely the people's reaction to your work, I think is going to speak the most. I pride myself on having great customer service, whether I'm building a house, flipping a house, talking to my clients, whether I'm selling their house or helping them buy a house. I always want their comments that they were satisfied with the way I represented them. So word of mouth, and for them to know that I truly care and that I like to be involved. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna have really good staff to take care of you. Well, then I guess you should be voting for the staff. But I plan to be present and to be involved. My job allows me that flexibility.
That's great. I know sometimes, depending on what job you have, it kind of does become a little bit of a burden whenever, somebody's not around, especially somebody that's the leader for a specific precinct. Um, what do you believe sets you apart? Well, you have the biggest opponents, right? The biggest pool of opponents. Precinct 4 is crowded with candidates. What do you think sets you apart from all the other candidates?
Um, Definitely my availability. I think in this position, you can't have someone that's gonna be a part-timer or that's gonna go in after hours. Um, you have to be present for when people call. I don't have to ask my boss, can I answer the phone? I'm able to arrange my meetings accordingly. And I have all the flexibility in the world to like, well, I go here, attend there, and be present. Um, I think it shows a lot that, you are there for the people. Also being able to manage budgets, um, having a proven record of my work ethic. I think that's something that people point out a lot, that we come from a hardworking family. It wasn't given to us. We have what we have because of my parents' sacrifices and the work. My brother and I have worked very, very hard to get to where we're at. And that's not something that someone just like, here you go. You have to work for it. And people who knew me from since I was little or that know me from since I was young, they know that I've always worked. So that's something that nobody will outwork me. I even now, like, I'm the one block walking. My husband and I are block walking. I take my girls, I take my friends. Um, so I'm out there with them. I don't just send people. And if they're sending people just to put a flyer on the door, you know what? They're not available now. They're not going to be available then.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. It is a little bit different when the actual candidate shows up at your door, asks, how you're doing, what's going on in your precinct, or asking for concerns, rather than sending somebody that, isn't going to be the commissioner, that is just, maybe getting paid to be out there to help them. So I didn't even think about that. That's true. Well, in every election cycle, you always have some voters that become disconnected with the county, or are upset for one reason or another. What would you tell those voters to make them sure that their voice, or make them feel that their voice matters moving forward if you are elected?
Um, I keep telling people, I'm like, elections nowadays are decided by a family. A large family can decide who goes into office. So I hear a lot of complaints, and I always tell them, you can't complain if you don't vote. Be informed, do your part. At least find out who the candidates are. Um, I don't go around talking about my other candidates' platform. I don't know. I actually don't even know their platform because I'm worried about myself. So I want my voters to know what I'm gonna do for them. So um yeah, I think I forgot the question again.
It's because every cycle, for some
What-
reason, voters do become upset with, the commissioners, or county government in general. How would you kind of reel them back in to gain their trust? Um, to if you were to get elected, what is it that you tell them to get that trust from them and say, hey, well, things are going to be different?
I did have someone tell me that, like some man that was upset, and he was like, pues vas a ser que igual que todos los demás. I'm like, no, sir, look. And I started telling him about my story, what I do. And I told him it's very important for you not to get discouraged. I go vote. I'm like, even if it's not for me, but be part of the solution. And hopefully, I know that they are working on ways to have more voting polls available, and I'm all for that. The more people that can vote and go out there, let's do it. I don't know how else to reach people. I've done it the media, and I've done the Facebook, and we we even have a billboard like, hey, we want to let people know, hey, we are interested in you getting to know me. Because this for me is like, let me present my platform. And if they like I mean, they might not agree with all my points, and I understand that. Like, even when you're home with your spouse, you don't agree 100% of the time. But hey, if you like most of them, if you like 7 out of 10, vote for me. One thing that I tell them is, one thing that for sure you'll get from me is that I'll advocate, I'll listen to you, I will be present, and I will fight for what's right.
Awesome. Um, so, shifting gears, you've gotten through these questions like a champ, let me tell you. Um, we wouldn't be the Maverick Times if we didn't ask difficult questions.
Ah, here you go.
I mean, we monitor, of course, social media. We see what people are saying, and we have to bring it up. A few people have brought up a past issue or an incident involving another individual, Jose Luis del Toro Jr., uh,
Hmm.
for a murder of a lady, Sheila Bullish, in 1997. Many people on social media have kind of, thrown those little rocks out and have attempted to kind of link you to this person. Can we get some kind of explanation or understanding of what really happened in that situation?
I don't think it really pertains to what I'm doing, but I kind of felt like this question was gonna come up. But because it is such a delicate issue, and I'm gonna read something to you that I have. This was written solely by me, but I don't want to say the wrong thing because it's so important. So I'll read it. Um, okay, so in 1997, so about 30 years ago, when
Very
I was
long
about
time.
18 or 19 years old, something very tragic happened. Someone I knew was friends and was involved with in a murder for hire plot. It was something I was not aware of that was being planned, and in no form was I part of that. My involvement came because once I found out what happened, the police and the Texas Rangers asked for my help, and I collaborated with them every step of the way to help capture this individual. What someone else does is not a reflection on me. So, to the fake account that likes to spew venom, please take your time to educate yourself. Yes, I knew the individual, and I was a big part of getting him captured. That is the story. Now, I've known for several weeks that someone was going around trying to bribe the media to run a smear campaign. I want to ask the question, how does it feel that your candidate is that bad that you need to go back 30 years and try to twist the facts so that your candidate has a chance? It is because of people like you that good people do not want to run for political office. You are the problem. From the beginning, I have stated that I want to bring more awareness to domestic violence and violence against women. This was something that impacted my life at a very young age, and I learned a lot from this horrible tragedy. It is another reason why I'm a big supporter of law enforcement. I saw how hard these men worked the case to bring justice for Sheila Bilish. That is all I will speak about this because using someone else's tragedy to make someone else look better is not acceptable. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you. I know that may have been difficult and stuff, but we've seen, just like you said, a fake account, somebody bringing it up, and we appreciate you sharing that with us and the audience, of course. That's all we have. I don't know if you have anything else you'd like to say to voters watching right now and the others that are going to watch this afterwards.
Um, I don't want, what was being brought up be a distraction because that's what they're trying to use it as a distraction. when someone goes around trying to run a smear campaign, obviously it's negative. But focus on what I am, who I am today, what I have become, what I advocate for. Um, and I want people to be proud of who they elect. Know that I've always worked hard for the community. I am involved in many organizations. And as a reminder, I am the vice president for Rotary Club of Eagle Pass. I have stayed the vice president for several years. I think I'm on my third year. And that is because as a trustee, it makes me travel a lot, right? I have to be involved in a lot of, outside business. And I know my limits, and that's the kind of person I am. I'm like, why am I going to be just president for the title when I know I'm not 100% available for this club? So I've been in it for a long time, since 2019, about.
Mhm.
Um, and then I was on the board of directors, and I became vice president. I could have been president, but it wasn't the time. And then this year, now that we did the merger with San Antonio Board of Realtors, I am the chairperson. And I've chosen to be involved with other organizations at the San Antonio level. So we are advocating for our realtors here, and know that when I go to those meetings and I get that information, I'm learning from individuals from all over Texas. So I'm able to collaborate those ideas. I have those resources available to me. Tree Pack and Texas Realtors are a big organization, and we have a lot of resources that I love to share down to my community. Um, Being that I was helping so much and I was being involved and I want to be involved, that's why I chose to run, because I wanted a higher platform where I could help more individuals. I'm a very, very fair person, and I'm very honest. And I would probably sell more homes if I wasn't so honest, because I will tell my clients, hey, it's not the time, or no te conviene, this isn't going to be good. So that's the kind of person I am. It's just it is what it is. Some people might not like my style, but I think people are tired of career politicians, and I'm a fresh face. Yes, my family might be in politics, but we're all very much individual. Um, like I mentioned earlier, if you know me, you know that I'm going to make my decisions what's good for the people I represent. And that's what's important for you guys to know. Everybody should be running their own race. I am not affiliated with anyone other than with my brother, because if not, my mom will get mad. But I am Eddie Morales' sister, and I'm very proud of his work. I'm very proud to be his sister. I'm so grateful for everything that he's done for, Maverick County and all his other, counties that he represents. So that's where I come from. That's who we are. We're hard workers.
No, and we thank you for your time. We know you're busy, taking care of stuff, realtor job. I'm sure that's busy. You're getting prepared. If you are elected for precinct 4, it looks like you're doing your homework, showing up to commissioner's court every time they have a meeting. So, I mean, we wish you nothing but the best of luck, and we'll see how the results go.
All right, thank you. So please help me out. If you're not in my precinct, please have one of your friends that does live in the area vote for you. They're like, hey, I really like what Anilu has to say. Can you vote for her? And that's how you can help me.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Anilu. We really appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys. So that was Anilu Morales-Gonzalez. She is running uh, as a Democrat for the Maverick County Commissioner's Precinct 4 position. Of course, many of you know that follow this thing that Commissioner Ruiz decided not to run this year. So he stepped down. He's going to finish his term until 2027, which is in January, right? January 1st, 2027, and we will have a new county commissioner, precinct 4. Just before we let you guys go, we do want to make a quick announcement. Tomorrow, of course, your kids do not have school, and on Monday they did cancel classes. So just in case you haven't heard it yet, be aware there is no classes on Monday as well. We do want to invite you as well on February 21st, 2026 to the Maverick County Lake at 11 a.m. The Buddy Foundation, along with Viva Canine, is going to be having a Valentine's Community Dog Event. Again, that was February 21st, 2026, 11 a.m. at the Maverick County Lake. There's going to be doggy treats, free nail cutting, and a great time to pamper your fur buddies. So there's a great event going on. Make sure you support your dog. If you have a lot of us have our four-legged best friends. Make sure you show up to the lake on February 21st to get involved with the Valentine's Community Dog Event. Another event coming up tomorrow, January the 23rd, guys. Stephanie Valdez, insurance agent for State Farm. She will be having a spin the wheel for anybody that shows up at the Periquitos, the restaurant. They're going to have you spin the wheel. You win a prize. You can get koozies, $5 vouchers, $3 vouchers. And hey, if you're already in Periquitos, go ahead and buy yourself a nice drink or a good appetizer. And you guys can enjoy tomorrow night, which is Friday. So everybody's going to have a chance to win on this. Again, it's tomorrow starting at 8 p.m. Go and visit Stephanie Valdez, the insurance agent for State Farm at Periquitos for your chance to win some prizes by spinning the wheel. Guys, that's all we have today. We appreciate your time. We will be having more candidates come on board. We are also scheduling a podcast with the Republican candidate for county judge. We're settling on a time. We also have the current county judge, Ramsey English Cantu. Again, we are scheduling a time for that. That should come out within the next couple of weeks. And we do have an open invitation for the Maverick County Judge candidates, which includes Domingo Rodriguez, former Justice of the Peace of Precinct 3A, 3AB, and also Gerardo Jerry Morales, former Commissioner of Precinct 1. We've made that invitation public. And the last one would be, who was the other one? Oh, none other than David Salcedo, former county judge that is running as an independent. We have already sent out or posted general invitations. Of course, the two that we are scheduling a day with or a time to get together, those have accepted a podcast. Again, we stay open for any other commissioner candidate that wants to run out here. Incumbents invited as well. If you want to come down into the Maverick Times, have a podcast, and we thank very much Miss Anilu Morales-Gonzalez that took the time to, answer some good questions and answer the tough questions that you guys wanted to hear. That's all we have for tonight. We appreciate you logging on and joining us. Again, if you're watching this live, we will have our podcast on X, which is Twitter, Facebook, as you're watching it now, and also on YouTube. For those of you that want to listen to this podcast, we will have it up very soon on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Again, we thank you for joining us. You have a nice night. If you have any other questions or any other requests for interviewing, please let us know. Reach out to us. You know the number, you know the page, the Maverick Times. Thank you.